Breaker Crunchers! It's Friday night in Phoenix, Arizona. We are the Couch Crunchers, and my name is Lance. With me tonight is Max and Sam. Say hi, guys.
Hello. Hey, everybody. We're Lance's wake-up call. He was asleep 2 minutes ago.
So, funny story, and like Sam said, I just woke up about 9 minutes ago, on accident. This exact thing happened to Matt, apparently, and their show was like delayed by like hours. Like all the guys were trying to call him and everything, and he was just asleep. So,
that's so funny.
Yeah.
I also want to point out that Max looks like he's creating something in his mad scientist laboratory.
His laboratory.
Oh, does it?
It's all dark, and then it just like flashes, and he's like, yes.
Yeah, man. I could go back to sleep right now, I'm telling you.
Well, let's wait till the show's over. You can go take all the naps you need.
I hope this is not telling of what the show's going to be tonight.
We will pick up the slack. Wake up.
So tonight, we decided to get together and talk about the newest episode of WandaVision, and boy, what a doozy it was. But we also wanted to talk about something that wasn't quite a doozy, and that is the little things. But
that first step is a doozy.
Yeah. And so the little things on HBO Max stars Rami Malek, Jared Leto, Denzel Washington, and
but not necessarily in that order.
Yeah. So before we get into that, I want to know, have you guys been watching anything good this week or anything you want to plug?
Yeah, sure. It was Groundhog Day earlier this week. Don't know if you guys realize that. And I partook in the Groundhog Day marathon that takes place every year. AMC puts on a full 24 hours of Groundhog Day, and it's delightful.
So they just play the movie over and over?
Over and over and over.
That is amazing.
Okay, so
I didn't know
Groundhog Day trivia. Did you know in the original script, they had intended for Phil Connors to be in Punxsutawney for 10,000 years?
Jeez.
But Harold Ramis, who played Egon Spengler in Ghostbusters opposite Bill Murray, he was the director, and he said, you know what, let's take that out. Let's take that reference out. Let's just let the audience figure it out. And then in the interviews immediately following the movie, to try and give a sense of how long he'd been there, he said 10 years, at least 10 years. But then a few years later, he says, you know what? It takes 10 years just to get good at one thing. So he had to have been there somewhere between 30 and 40 years. But then a super fan, someone like me, a super fan, went out and calculated exactly how many days he was there. And it was 33 years and 350 days. So just shy of 34 years.
How do you calculate that?
Oh, well, so you can go to the blog post. There's a Yahoo Answers post, and it links to a blog post that goes through how he tabulated every day. And primarily he goes through all of the repeat scenes. But then he uses that to kind of extrapolate how long it would take him to get to know every single person in the town.
Okay.
And to learn all the skills that he demonstrated by the very last day.
Yeah. What was how did the loop get ended? He had to fall in love or something, or get someone to love him? Isn't that kind of how the loop ended?
So anybody who hasn't seen Groundhog Day, what you need to understand is that Groundhog Day is a movie about one man who lives the same day over and over again. And he
I think who is that just commented?
That is my sister. That's my sister Sarah.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure she wants to see this relived every day over and over again.
Well, she can. It's on my Instagram. On the Triple D Dodgeball Instagram, you can look up. So I had a moment on Wednesday that Sarah thankfully brought up where I got hit in the nuggies playing dodgeball twice.
Oh man,
it was a good time. We had a great time. But so it's Groundhog Day. Same guy.
You're a good
same day over and over again.
Not very many men are like, it was a great day when I get hit in the balls twice.
The external pain masks my internal pain.
Okay, all
right. So he relives the same day over and over again. And there's a point in the movie where he's talking to these two guys, and it's right before he kind of takes off on the whole escapades. And the guy's like, I live the same day every day. Sounds like my life. And that's the genius of Groundhog Day, is it's about anybody who's ever had a job and their life becomes kind of routine.
Monotonous.
And if you watch it thinking, how am I like Phil Connors? And you'll see yourself and your evolution through your job. And right when he finally gets it right, when he has the best possible day, he retires and moves on to the next day. And that's the genius of Groundhog Days. It's not about a guy. It's not about one guy. It's about all of us reliving the same type of day over and over again, having a very routine life. But then through that routine, you develop expertise. You can help other people, and you can really grow as a person. And that's really why I think Groundhog Day may be one of the best movies of all time. I don't know, Max, what do you think about it?
I don't know if I'd go as far as saying it's one of the greatest movies of all time necessarily, but I very much enjoy it. I love Bill Murray, but if I were to even think about Bill Murray movies, I don't think it would even be in the top 3. But it's a very good movie. That just shows you how good Bill Murray's movies were in the 80s and 90s before he stopped doing anything. Like, he doesn't really do anything anymore.
Maybe you just haven't seen it enough. Maybe you should see it 100 more times, and then you'll realize just how genius it is.
It's really good, but I have a hard time when there's movies like What About Bob? That's my favorite Bill Murray movie. And then The Man Who Knew Too Little, Ghostbusters, and then maybe Groundhog's Day is after that.
Yeah. I have been watching one other thing that I wanted to bring up. Netflix is airing an anime that Toonami was putting on called Demon Slayer, and it's kind of taken the world by storm in the last couple of years. It is a very good anime. It's kind of set right at the end of the Edo period, kind of the beginning of the modern era, like in the 1910s, 1920s, as Japan is just starting to modernize. And it's about demons and this kind of core of not samurai, but they use samurai swords to hunt these demons. And one of them, the main character, is this kid whose family is killed by demons, except for his sister, who is turned into a demon by the demon. And so he's kind of stuck between his devotion to his sister and his calling as a demon slayer. And so his quest is to bring his sister back to humanity, while at the same time killing all the demons. And it's very well animated. It's very well acted. I think you guys would really enjoy it, actually. They are going to be releasing a movie related to it. So the first major story arc ends, and rather than put it in a season 2, they decided they were going to do a movie, and it's called Mugen Train, and that is going to be coming out in 2021 here pretty soon. So Demon Slayer, you guys should watch Demon Slayer.
I've heard of it. I'll check it out. Well, as for me, Lance,
yeah, sorry,
you're good.
Dude, I think I'm still in that like delirious mode. Not sure if this is real or a dream or not. But nothing happened with my internet or anything. I just closed out my browser.
Lance was like, all right, I'm gonna go take a nap. I wasn't ready to wake up.
Yeah.
His body's just shutting down.
Yeah. I'm getting old, guys.
Yes, that's true. That's true. Can I tell you guys something exciting? We're talking about what we're watching, but I'm going to tell you what I will be watching tomorrow, which is a brisket in my smoker. Yeah, just tenderly smoked to perfection for a Super Bowl outing.
Yes.
And the reason I'm excited about it is that it was on sale for only $2.69 a pound for prime brisket. So that was exciting.
I'm surprised you didn't buy 2.
I don't like freezing brisket. Plus, I think, I don't know if I mentioned it on the show, but I bought like a year's worth of meat a few weeks ago, and so my freezer is pretty full. So I didn't want to buy a second one and put it in the freezer.
Yeah.
But yeah, I really haven't been up to anything that exciting. Ever since September, I've been in a gaming phase. I mean, and I'm a gamer, and that's like my main hobby. But I usually go in phases where, like, for a few months I game a lot, and then a few months I watch TV a lot, and then another couple months I'm all about watching movies. But pretty much ever since I built my PC in September, I've done nothing but watch the movies we're doing for the show and play video games on my free time anyway. And that's not entirely the case. Like, I do watch some shows. Like, I'm still watching Orphan Black, but I'm still, only about 7 episodes into season 2. It's really good. I'm just distracted. And so I replayed Final Fantasy VII Remake. I played the latest. I mentioned that last week, but I did finish the Gears 5 Hivebusters DLC, and I'm replaying Rise of the Tomb Raider. When I have free time, I've just been enjoying gaming. It's been really fun. So, yeah, that's kind of what I've been up to. PSA to all you PS5 owners out there. I wanted to highlight something. If you own God of War, they just released a patch so that the game now runs in 4K 60 frames a second. So that's really
what's
exciting.
a PSA? Is there a different PlayStation out there?
Public service
PSA for the PS5 owners.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Public service announcement. Oh, okay, I got you. It's not a new PlayStation. I got you.
No. But if you own a PS5 and you have God of War, it's definitely worth downloading that update so that you can play in 60 frames a second instead of the 4K 30 like it was on the PS4. So I thought that was pretty fun. I wish they would release an update for Final Fantasy VII Remake. Like I said, I replayed that. I just finished a replay last night, but it's still on 30 frames, and I'm not so snobbish that I can't play it, obviously, because I did. But you notice it chugs along a lot slower than I'd like.
Oh, don't let him fool you. He is a snob.
I can be, for sure. I'm definitely a snob when it comes to meat. This week was a good week. It was my anniversary.
Happy anniversary.
Thank you. Yeah, Wednesday was my anniversary. And I decided to buy a tri-tip for my wife and I and smoke that for our anniversary. Well, then after I realized how long it was going to take me to smoke it and how much work it would be, and that I was going to be busy that day for work, we decided to just do it on a different day when I wasn't
smoking in a pipe or in the rolling papers.
In my Traeger, my easy bake oven. That's what I like to call that thing.
Yeah, you don't roll it in paper to get high on brisket there.
But yeah, dude, it was a good week. I had tri-tip on Tuesday, which was delicious, and then my anniversary was Wednesday, and I did fillets on the grill and a lobster tail. It was, as far as food is concerned, it was a wonderful week. But yeah, that's what I've been up to. What about you, Lance?
Well, I'm questioning our friendship since I wasn't invited over for any of these fantastic meat things. No, I'm just
You're
kidding.
Invited for the brisket on Sunday.
I paid for it.
You know what? Lance, he's got the best seat in the house laid out for you. He's gonna put a little futon underneath the smoker, and you can just lay there and let the drippings drip into your mouth.
Oh, that would be so
glorious.
Ugh.
Just as long as it's in view of the TV, I'm okay.
Yeah, but if you turn your head, you're getting brisket drip on your cheek.
Amazing. Just create another hole, easy access.
Dude, one of my favorite things about that thing is just turning it on and smelling the smell of freaking smoking wood. It's just so nice.
Yeah, I have one, a Traeger, and don't know how to use it at all. So it's
it's so easy. You literally turn it on.
Yeah, I just haven't. I also haven't had time to use it. I mean, look at all these naps that I have to take. So, but
naps are very important to me.
You literally put pellets in the hopper, plug it in, turn it on, put the food in once it's preheated. Like that's it. It was so easy.
Yeah, but I also don't like. There's different like temperatures and stuff.
Yeah, a quick text to me, I'll tell you, or Google it. I mean, whatever. When it
So,
comes to smoking meat, I am Google.
oh gosh, I'm trying to think because besides WandaVision, there's not much. I mean, I've been playing a lot of Assassin's Creed Valhalla, which that game, I've been playing it every day since I got it, except today because I did not have time. Every day since I've got it, and I'm still only 40% through. It's insane.
I'm kind of impressed you're that far through, actually.
Oh, dude, I put in a lot of time.
Yeah. I was going to ask where you are, but it's not.
Why did I marry this man?
I was going to ask you where you are, but the game's not like super linear, so it's like you could be in any region of the game, and it wouldn't really tell me how far in you are.
Yeah, the thing that so I have like 2 alliances so far, and I've been going on a bunch of raids, and
nice.
It's a lot of fun, man. Like it is glitchy as all get out. I mean, Ubisoft, dude.
It's true.
That is horrible, but it's a really fun game. And then I'm trying to think, like my wife and I start watching the Hardy Boys, and that's kind of okay. You know, the Hardy Boys was more of a nostalgic thing for me. So Hulu has released a whole season of the Hardy Boys at the end of December, and it's okay. It's kind of like they try to take Supernatural, remove all the Supernatural, and age down the 2 people and figure out what it's just kind of dumb. But there hasn't been really much of anything else.
That's okay.
Watch. Well, I gotta pick me up. I put a pick me up in the private chat for you, Lance, and just in case you need to, and we can put it up on the. You can share your screen if you think it's worthy.
Oh yes, I did. I was going to ask your sister for this. Let me see. Okay, I cannot close my internet browser again.
I believe in you.
Lance. I love how perfectly placed that my name tag is.
The Magic Things Thor.
The Mechanic Things Thor. I do like that. That's pretty good.
Why? Share screen.
Did you guys see the new or the Thor set photos?
No, I haven't seen those actually.
All right, so guys. This is from Wednesday night. Here we go. Just start at the beginning. Wait, Lance, you got to put the sound on. The sound here is incredible.
How do you share computer sound, Max?
When you hit share, there should be a little checkbox that says include audio. And then you have to click that. All right, let's check this out.
Those are my nephews.
Dang, man, I could feel that. Oh, rewind. I like how Sam is so stylish. He's freaking in a collared shirt.
He doesn't. I just want to keep watching that.
Oh, that's funny.
Because it looked at you like he was aiming for it.
If you're listening to the podcast, you are watching a replay of Sam getting hit in the nards during dodgeball.
I got drilled in the nuggets, man. It's pretty brutal.
Oh, that's fantastic.
Oh, that's awesome.
I can't play it again because I'm going to start crying. Okay. That's phenomenal.
You can see that video on my on the Triple D Dodgeball Instagram. Just Triple D Dodgeball, all one word.
Oh, that's so good. Man, that was good.
That's what I do for you guys, man.
That was funny.
I don't want to
It's
just
almost
comment
like-
on entertainment. I want to be entertaining.
Yeah, it's almost like he had every intention of hitting you in the nuts. Like that's
Funny
what I
story
feel
about
like.
that. That's a very funny
Uh-huh.
story. So, my nephew, his parents were in the chat. So my sister and my brother-in-law were in the chat watching the live stream, and they said that my nephew had said he was basically calling a shot like Babe Ruth. He's like, I'm going to drill Sam in the nuts with this ball. Before he left home, that's what he was saying. He was calling a shot. So he made good on his promise.
That's
Looks like it.
fantastic. Oh my gosh. That is so
It was
good.
a good time. We have a good time. Not everyone gets drilled in the nuggies.
I think that's gonna be my ringtone. Like that just grow and the reverberation through the
Through the
Dodge or the racquetball court. Oh man, that's fantastic.
That was bad. That hurt my soul.
Oh dude, it did nothing but make me happy.
That was funny. No, that was pretty darn funny.
Yeah, so now that we know Sam has been effectively neutered at this point.
Hey, I've never felt better.
So yeah, but there hasn't really been much of anything to watch, wouldn't you guys say? Like I check Netflix periodically, and I mean, as far as like dramas and stuff are concerned.
I just told you about a great one, Demon Slayer.
Yeah, but one that my wife will want to watch.
Oh, if you're looking for something for the ladies with Valentine's Day coming up, let's see. You've got Bridgerton. You've got Firefly Lane. What else, babe? What else is good? My sexy wife is standing over here.
So I
Yeah, my wife.
I looked at Firefly
right
Lane.
now.
Yeah, quickly figured out that that's not a show that I want to watch. And Bridgerton is that time period that I'm not into.
It's like anachronistic, I should say. It's time period, but not really. It's like
What, Bridgerton?
Yeah, it's kind of a mix of modern sensibilities and time period. Okay.
Yeah, Bridgerton was interesting. I didn't watch the whole thing, but it was really funny. My wife was watching it, and I sat down with her. And as soon as I sat down, it was like 30 straight minutes of nothing but sex scenes. And she's like, "I swear the whole show's not like this." And I was like, as soon as I sat down,
Yeah, well, that's funny.
When you there's that meme when you watch a show by yourself, and then when you watch the show with your parents. And when it's by yourself, it's just like regular stuff. And then as soon as your parents show up, it's all sex scenes.
Dude, that's how Scrubs was. If you watch Scrubs, the Todd is always inappropriate. He's in every episode, but 30 seconds to a minute of screen time every episode, pretty much. Every time as a kid, my mom would walk in on me watching Scrubs. It was Todd making a joke about naming some woman's breasts or looking at a woman's butt and saying thong. And I'm just like, gosh dang it. Every time my mom thinks that I just watched this horrible show. When the reality is Scrubs, Scrubs had some humor that was off color, but for the most part, it was quite wholesome.
Yeah, quite tame.
Yeah.
Yeah, Ashton Kutcher was talking about that Bridgerton, how he woke up in the middle of the night. Mila Kunis, I guess, was watching Bridgerton, and he thought that she was watching porn.
Oh my gosh.
He tells a story about waking up.
Sure.
And thought she was watching porn. Yeah, but I mean, there's also I hear that Emily in Paris is pretty good, but there hasn't been really anything striking. We need more shows to come out.
Good.
Yeah,
WandaVision every week, man. Disney Plus. It's the year of Disney Plus.
Speaking of older movies like Groundhog Day, so we watched The Witches on HBO Max. Have you guys seen that?
No, it's
The Witches.
Looks absolutely terrible.
You're talking about the series that's based on the Witches of Eastwick? Is that the one you're talking about? Oh, that one with Anne Hathaway. Yeah. I enjoyed
it
quite
a bit.
Bad.
Did you watch it?
Scary.
No, the trailer looked so bad.
Oh,
But it's a kids movie, right? So maybe that's why.
It's like a scary movie for kids.
No, it's like a family movie. I don't know. Like I enjoyed it a lot. I liked it quite a bit.
Scary for kids.
So my kids loved it too. So I was like, well, if you guys like that one, let me show you the best one. And we watched Willy Wonka, which is also by Roald Dahl. The original one, Gene Wilder. My kids went bananas and have watched it like 6 times since I've shown them.
So it's so rewatchable, man.
And it made me so happy.
Rewatchable.
Oh yeah, because a couple years ago, I was showing them old movies and stuff, and they were not interested. But now they're getting a little bit older, to where, if there's not cool explosions or whatever, they can still be into it. They absolutely loved it. So I was very happy. My wife, who has never seen it, who used to tell me that Charlie and the Chocolate Factory was a better movie,
right.
almost did not get married over that one. She loved it as well. So that was nice to finally confirm that I am right, and the Gene Wilder version is much better than Johnny Depp's.
It is. It's so better.
Oh yeah,
so much
that's
better.
for sure. I did watch one more thing this week that we're speaking of some older movies. For years now, I've been wanting to watch Garden State, and I've heard that it's a pretty fun rom-com. And
Garden State's awesome.
Yeah, it was on sale for $10 on Amazon, so I figured on my anniversary I'd buy that, and so my wife and I watched that, and it was pretty good. I liked it.
It's very kind of artsy.
Yeah, it took a while to pick up. About like 20 minutes before I was like, okay, all right, this is getting better now. But as you learn more about the story, you understand why it's slow at first and why the main character is actually quite unlikable at first. And he becomes a lot more likable when you realize what's going on.
So the thing about that movie when it came out, like there's been a lot of movies like that since, kind of that artsy romantic comedy stuff. But when that movie came out, because it was written and directed by Zach Braff, if I'm not mistaken. Right?
And he starred in it. Yeah.
Yeah. So it was so different compared to everything else that had come out around that time that it just kind of made this impact, right? And since then, we've seen a lot of things come out kind of in that same tone and things like that indie romantic comedy.
Yeah. The thing that made me sad, though, is I literally saw an article today where Natalie Portman said she's embarrassed by that movie.
Why?
Because she says, and let me try not to eye roll too hard here. She says that her character is just an avenue to tell the man's story, and she hates that.
Who's this? Wait, what?
Natalie Portman. She says her character in Garden State was just used as an avenue to further the male character's story. And I'm like, your character was my favorite part of the movie. What the heck? Yeah. Like, I loved her character so much. And granted, yes, Zach Braff's the main character, and her character is part of his story. But that I don't know. Like, she just made it seem like her character was this sexist stereotype, and I'm like, really? I feel like your character was this wonderful, well-rounded, quirky person who helped Zach Braff's character to like grow. And I don't know. I don't understand why that's a bad thing, but I don't know.
Yeah. Okay.
Well, we're not going to get into the political
debate.
Yeah.
No, I just was
the
like
Bechdel
surprised.
test.
I thought it was really good. I forget what the Bechdel test is. Oh, is that's like about sexism in movies? Right?
It's the minimum amount of female content to say that your movie is not sexist. And all it is you have 2 female characters speaking to one another about something other than the male characters. If you have that, then you pass the Bechdel test. And then there's
Does Garden State have that? Yes, because she speaks to her mother about
what?
Nothing related to the main character, about a hamster in their house that died.
There you go.
So they passed the test. There we go.
I don't know. I just want to see good movies, and I want to see movies that are original and.
Then have I got a movie for you? It's called The Little Things.
Now this is based on a book, right?
Yes. Now, before this movie like
Are we
right
going to change
when
the
this movie.
ticker? Are we
Oh
moving?
yeah, good call, buddy.
Can we capitalize on that segue?
Good call, buddy. Sometimes I hate being the showrunner. Sometimes I like it.
Well, while
Sometimes
you're
I hate
doing
it.
that, so Kyle says, yeah, Johnny Depp's Wonka is a weird Redditor, and the OG is just a creepy serial killer. I'd take the OG if you ask me.
No,
Okay.
but that's the genius of Willy Wonka is that whole serial killer thing is an act. Like he's trying to look eccentric and
I think he seems serial killer-ish in both.
No, it's the serial killer thing comes from the fact that those kids, we don't see what happened to those kids.
yeah.
Yeah, that's true.
We don't know if they made it out of the factory alive. Right?
Right.
In the movie, you don't know if they made it out alive.
Well, I think they explicitly say the blueberry girl that they're gonna put her through like basically a juice
juicer.
press. Yeah. Like squish her and stuff. And then Mike TV is gonna be stretched. It was
so
like
in
a taffy stretcher.
that's the one thing in the in the Johnny Depp version is they do show the kids walking out of the factory after they've been put through all the candy presses.
Jeez. I don't know. Gene Wilder just did a much better. Like they give Johnny Depp those huge teeth, like and give it this whole dentist backstory, isn't it? Isn't that what it is?
Yeah.
Like his dad was a dentist, and
yeah, his dad was a dentist.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, little did we know that The Little Things was going to be a movie that we would review this year. So
yeah. So there's been a drought. So every week we've been focusing on WandaVision, and that's been awesome, and it's led to great conversation. But sometimes we do like talking about other things. In this case, the little things. And so far, we're 0 for 2 on interesting movies because.
I'm going to disagree with you there. I liked The Little Things. I thought it was good. I didn't think it was great.
Little Things was pretty good for the first up until the whoopsie, and I was like, okay.
What's the whoopsie?
You're talking about the very end?
Yeah. So
okay. Right.
Where the thing happens, I shouted out loud in my theater because there was hardly anybody in my theater. There were 5 people in my theater.
The theater.
Yeah. There were 5 people in my theater, and when it happened, I was like, whoops. And everyone was like, yeah. Yeah, that was a whoops. Yep.
What's the whoops?
Yeah, we're talking spoilers.
We got spoilers. Part. Oh, the shovel.
When he kills the other, when Rami Malek's character kills Jared Leto's character. I can't remember their names.
So when I saw that, I'm like, okay, I get why he did that. But then 5 minutes later, the whole movie ends, right? Like they go through. I wanted to see some sort of like ramifications of this guy doing this, but no, they never find out if that dude actually killed those girls. They never find out if Rami Malek gets caught for what he did, or there's some other person. Like it just felt so open ended. Like you were watching a TV show. Like there should have been like 4 or 5 more episodes after.
It was an odd ending.
No, listen. The movie was never about catching the killer. The movie was about coping with guilt.
Yeah.
And you don't realize it's about coping with guilt until the very end. And that's why you're like, come on. Right?
Yeah,
that's why you feel cheated, is because you thought you were watching a murder mystery. And then at the very end, you're like, nope, this is a therapy session.
Yeah, and that is the bummer about it. When you spend, it was like what, a 2-hour and 10-minute movie or something like that. It was over 2 hours, and you spend 2 hours with these characters. And I wouldn't say that like you love them necessarily, but you become invested in their story. Mm-hmm. You want them to catch the killer, and then you find out it's not really about that, and that's a bummer. Like it's interesting because I don't necessarily mind a movie that has an open-ended ending or that is a little ambiguous. That's fine, but I do agree, like the way this was handled, I'm sure you've got movie mechanic thoughts here, Sam. But like you said, you think it's a murder mystery, and then to find out it's a completely different movie is weird. Like it makes me wonder if I rewatched this, knowing what it's really about, if maybe I'd actually enjoy it more. But I feel like that's a failure in storytelling.
Yeah, I mean, honestly. It's not that they didn't plant the seeds.
They did. Yeah,
they were planting the seeds all along. But you know, they say that the wheat and the tares grow up together, right? And you can't really find out which one is which until the harvest. Well, it's kind of the same thing here. They did the murder mystery and the therapy session were so closely woven together that at the very end you didn't know which one it was until the way the movie ends. And when they end the movie without anybody catching the killer, it's like, okay, now we understand. This was a therapy session about dealing with guilt, and it had nothing to do with catching the killer.
Yeah. But I will say this. I thought the performances were outstanding, specifically Jared Leto. Comes off very...
Jared Leto's performance, I thought, was very good.
Yeah.
I loved his walk, you know? Like, he had a very particular walk.
Yeah, he's...
I really like that. Jared
Leto has always been a fantastic... So that's what's been kind of... what's been grinding my gears in Peter Griffin's voice. So this week we saw, you know, Zack Snyder put out that updated, like, it's kind of a blurry picture of what Jared Leto is going to look like in Justice League, right? As the Joker. And people are like, why not recast him? Like, this Joker was awful, blah, blah, blah. And I was like, listen, it's not Jared Leto's fault. It's the costume department and the writing. Like, Jared Leto is a phenomenal actor, and he's played creepy people before. He could do a good job as Joker, but just give him some decent material to work with. So it really drives me nuts when people think, you know, Jared Leto is to blame for this bad Joker representation, and it's not. Like, I'm excited. I want to see if he does do better. And then if it still sucks, then you can blame Jared Leto. You know?
Yeah. I'm interested to see what happens. I'm a little worried they're overstuffing Justice League, but anyway,
it's 4 hours long. Yeah. It's 4 hours.
You're right. You're
going to need a little extra stuffing.
Fair enough.
Get out the stovetop and stuff this sucker.
But I think it just kind of speaks to, you know, watching this movie and seeing how good Jared Leto does. You know, it should give fans a little bit more confidence in you know, his abilities. But Denzel kind of seems like he's playing a softer version of the Equalizer. Did anybody get that?
Well, okay, so Denzel in most of his movies, he has this real cocky swagger about him, and this one was really interesting because most of the people didn't like him, and he didn't have his you know, characteristic swagger charm. He was basically trying to lay low, and you don't really realize what it is until the very end, and it's the guilt, right? He's trying to keep from resurfacing all that guilt. So very interesting take. It is a lot like a lot of his other characters, but there's just some little subtleties here and there where you're like, okay, yeah, that's a little different than I'm used to seeing him.
Yeah. It was a little different, but I don't think he did a bad job. But it definitely seems like Jared Leto and Rami Malek kind of steal the show. Like, it was kind of marketed as a Denzel movie, but
well, to be fair, I mean, Denzel is in it the most. He gets the most screen time. And he is playing it very cool, very calm, very steady, which is very interesting because of all the crazy things going on.
Yeah, so Matt's standing in line at movies right now. Jay and I are doing that tomorrow morning. Couldn't be more excited. Are you guys familiar with what movies is?
I know it has something to do with Jay and Silent Bob, right?
Yeah, it's Clerks. It's a fast food restaurant. So Kevin Smith is doing the pop-up of this. Jay and I bought our places in line like, I don't know, 2 or 3 weeks ago, but it's tomorrow. They were selling out like hotcakes. Like, I have
Wait, they sell hotcakes?
Oh my gosh. I've got to remember.
Dad jokes.
I've only been up for 40, 50 minutes. So my brain is still, I need some caffeine or something. But
no, what's on the menu?
It's like fast food stuff. It's burgers and stuff, but they have a lot of merchandise, and there's going to be a lot of other fun stuff going. Like, I'm interested to see what's going on with the social distancing thing. Like, how that.
You know what you're ordering, and Matt Matt, if you're still in the chat, what are you ordering?
So I've already ordered. You already place your order when you buy your ticket. So I got like a grilled chicken sandwich or something, and hater tots, I think, or something. I forget what they call them.
Hater tots?
Grilled chicken sandwich. Yeah. Oh, you have a gluten allergy, right?
Yeah. So my choices were kind of narrow, but this whole thing for Jay and I to go costs $95.
Holy crap!
Dang,
yeah,
dude.
So there's a whole bunch of other stuff, but
what's a cow tipper?
It's a burger.
Yeah, what is it? How's it different than like a regular burger?
It's just a
it's
burger.
Not. It's just a regular burger.
Yeah, hater tots. Yeah, it's just a burger. No, the main thing where you're going is, for the
Is Kevin Smith going to be there?
I know he was there yesterday, because yesterday was the first day. I don't know. I wish Matt could come on the show real quick and kind of tell us, because I want to know what the heck I'm going to as well. I want to know if I just got ripped off for a sandwich.
I mean, if you're paying $95 and you're going to be rubbing elbows with Kevin Smith, I mean, that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
It could be cool.
It's more like it's a temporary thing. It's called a pop-up restaurant. Like,
yeah, I'm familiar with the concept,
but it's more for just big fans of the. Yeah, he was there this morning. So I mean, you could hopefully get the opportunity to meet him. I know I'm going to bring some of my Funko Pops in the car,
just in case.
Just in case, yeah, because I've got a Blunt Man and Chronic and Iron Bob that I would love for him.
I think you should wear them as like a necklace, like thread some string through the lids of the boxes.
Yeah,
and wear them as like a necklace, so he can just sign them all as you present your chest to him.
So as you guys know, my desk used to be pointed the other direction, so you used to get to see my growing pop collection. But I recently had to start building wall number 2 for my shelves, and Sam hasn't seen it in a while. So let's see here. So there's the old one, and then there's the new one starting to pop up. Not all of them are on there because I still got to put some more slats, but I got pops galore. But and they're up everywhere. So
congratulations.
I know, it makes me so happy. I'm a proud papa. Yeah, but I'm hoping to get my Kevin Smith. I just got the director Kevin Smith Funko Pop that would be awesome to get signed, but yeah, it's just a nerd thing. I'm a big Kevin Smith fan. Matt's probably even a bigger fan than I am.
Yeah, I think you're right about that.
Yeah. But Kevin Smith is just kind of idol to fat nerds everywhere. He's kind of a king fat nerd, like that. Well, he's not fat anymore, so
he's not quite so fat. Yeah, he's gotten all trim on you.
But he's made impacts in the comic book pop culture thing. I mean, he's directed episodes of a lot of those WB shows that Max loves.
What? No, I don't watch them anymore. They all suck.
Oh yeah, they
talking about Flash and Batwoman and Arrow.
I watched all of Arrow. I liked Arrow. There were highs and lows, but I liked it. I really liked Flash the first 2 seasons. I watched season 3 and 4, and now I'm just like, nope. You gave me 2 bad seasons in a row. I'm kind of done. I don't know what season is on now.
Supergirl got canceled.
Yeah, aren't they doing one more season?
Yeah,
I thought all of those CW shows got renewed for at least one more season.
Supergirl got renewed for a final season, is my understanding.
Yeah, but there was a big renewal sweep that happened like this week or last week. I don't remember. Supergirl's already was announced a few months ago that this upcoming season would be their last, so they were not part of that. And then something else too. I don't recall what it was. But Legends of Tomorrow got renewed, and I'm still scratching my head as to why.
Yeah, that's weird. It's not that. I watched the first 2 seasons of that, and then I got bored. I'm just not.
Yeah.
I really liked those shows. They were good for a while, but they just
they got too gimmicky and too
gimmicky. They're too political a lot of the time. Even when they do stuff that I agree with, I'm just like, I'm not here for that. I don't care about your politics. I just want
Be
to
a
escape.
separation from reality, not putting reality in my living room. No, like Agents of Shield got political, but it was never like annoying.
Yeah, I understand writers like to express opinions. They like to use their platform to further ideas, but the CW stuff just doesn't do it in a good way.
Yeah, so I'm really excited. I didn't even know it debuted, but that new Walker show with the spinoff, or not spinoff, reboot.
Jared Padalecki.
Yeah, Walker, Texas Ranger. That show hit, and apparently it's been getting some pretty good reviews.
Good stuff.
So I put it on my YouTube TV, and I'm gonna start watching that here soon as well. But
Nice.
no, the little things like to go back to our original conversation.
Yeah, we got sidetracked real bad.
Yeah, what was I talking about? Oh,
Matt was in the chat, and we got on this tangent.
So I liked the little things up until they changed what kind of movie I was watching. I thought performances were fine, and I liked how dark it was, and there was this whole mystery that got me invested into it of these girls and all these things, and it just never, I don't know. It's like seeing okay, do you know like if you wrap a gift and you can clearly tell what the gift is from the wrapping paper, like say somebody wraps a bike and the package is wrapped in
or like a guitar,
it's wrapped in that shape, and then you open it and it's a pack of gum. That's how I feel. I feel that there was a guitar shaped package sitting on my doorstep from Amazon, and I opened it up and it was a Celine Dion CD. Like,
yeah. So there was a movie that came out like 20 years ago called The Pledge with Jack Nicholson.
Yeah.
I think it was written and directed by Sean Penn. And it was basically the same kind of movie. Jack Nicholson plays this detective who earlier in his career promises the mom of a murdered child that he will solve the child's case. And
what movie is this?
It's called The Pledge.
Okay.
Came out in 2001. And he goes through the whole movie. What happens is someone else runs into, starts describing somebody. This little girl starts describing somebody who matches the original killer's description. And
be right back, guys.
And so he's like, okay, well, now's my chance to make good on this promise that's haunted me for years, my whole career. And then I can retire. And so he gets really invested in this case, and he ends up using this other little girl as bait to try and catch the killer. And the little girl's mom finds out, and she's just pissed, right? She's pissed at him and basically throws him out of town. And then the killer, they show who the killer is, but he gets killed in like a car accident without Jack Nicholson ever finding out who it is. And so the movie ends with like Jack Nicholson just like crazily rocking on his like porch rocker, just like, I gotta solve this case, gotta solve the case, made a promise, made a promise. And he's just like doing the cuckoo's nest thing all over again. But it's like, that was so disappointing that they would lead us right up to the very edge and then just drop it and it all falls apart. And it's like, okay, so what was that movie really about? Because what it's about is defined by the resolution that you get. And the resolution we got in Little Things had nothing to do with the murder. It had everything to do with coping with guilt. And that was something that I wasn't expecting. And there was a little bit towards the end where I was like, okay, I don't think this is going the right way. This feels a little hinky. And sure enough, it took a left turn.
You know, instead of hinky, I would have preferred if it was just kinky. But it didn't do either. You know, it wasn't kinky, it was hinky.
Like instead of getting hit in the face with a shovel and buried in a hole,
Actually,
you'd rather see Jared Leto in a sex
take it
get
back.
whipped by a.
I take it
Max
back.
wanted to see him start making out in the desert.
The movie was kinky. Jared Leto his character had a very weird kink. But I want to get back to that. So,
what was the weird kink? I don't know what you're referring to.
He got a boner looking at
portrait
images of.
Oh yeah, that's right. That's right.
Yeah, of death victims, his victims most likely, but we don't
Dude,
know that
was so
for sure.
weird. That was the weirdest scene. Did you guys see that was a weird scene?
Yes.
He scoots up real close, then he grabs him. He grabs him by the dong. He's like, "You're hard. This guy's hard."
Yeah.
Yeah, that was weird.
That was weird. That was like
that's a committee hearing kind of a thing, at least nowadays, and for good reason. You should not go grabbing the perps' penises. That's a little weird, a little unacceptable.
Yeah, I know. I mean, we've had this conversation with Max a million times. You can't go grabbing dongs. Max gets it. Why doesn't Hollywood get it?
Yeah. So anyway, the performances I thought were really good, especially from Jared Leto. I loved the crazy walk he had. I loved the menacing feel to his character. He was creepy as all get out. But was he the killer, or was he just a creepy guy who was really into criminology? You know, like, and if he was just a creepy guy really into criminology, he didn't deserve to be killed. Now, he was being pretty stupid by like leading the cop to a site saying that someone's buried there when it appears no one actually was. And so just a weird guy. But his performance was, I thought, stellar. And I think Jared Leto's performances are always quite good. I mean, Blade Runner 2049, I thought his freaking villain was crazy and really entertaining. And Joker was written weird, but I thought his performance was really cool at any rate. But I love seeing him on screen. I thought Rami Malek was fine. Wasn't necessarily his best performance. And then Denzel did a really good job, but I think the highlight performance was Jared Leto.
Yeah, but he doesn't show up until halfway through the movie.
I know, and that was a bummer. Because I like him so much and I saw him in the trailer, I was like, when's he going to show up? When's he going to show up? And then he finally did, and then even then it was like 10 more minutes before he had a line. You just kind of saw him about 30, 40 minutes into the movie, and then it was like around the 50-minute mark that he finally got a line.
Yeah, so here's a question for you, Max. I know you love Jared Leto's performance, but is Jared Leto just becoming window dressing?
What do you mean?
Okay, so in this movie, he didn't show up until halfway through, and he didn't make it to see the credits roll. And Suicide Squad, basically the same thing. He's just a flashback. He's relegated to flashback duty. Basically the same in Harley Quinn and the Emancipation of All Good Taste.
Well, he's not in that one at all.
He's not even in that movie. And Blade Runner 2049, I mean, he's kind of like the shadowy hand that's kind of running things, but like he doesn't get a whole lot of screen time in that movie either. So is he just window dressing?
If he is, he's window dressing that I really enjoy watching. I don't like the long hair though.
He's window dressing that Max just wants dumped all over his body.
Yes.
You know? Oh, I see it.
Lance, you have got
it. Dressing.
That's ranch dressing.
Yeah.
I bought 2 packages of ranch dressing today. I'm going to put Jared Leto. I'm going to take a Sharpie and write Jared Leto over ranch and dump it all over my chest.
Oh, that's.
And you're going to get a boner.
Yeah,
Jared Leto in the movie.
Well, I think because I really want to get in the WandaVision discussion. Just you guys have anything else you want to talk about this?
Nah.
I do think that Jared Leto is kind of teased as window dressing in a lot of his movies.
Yeah, he is.
I do want to say.
Go ahead.
I want to say if you go see this movie, it's not bad. It's not a bad movie, but don't expect the case to be solved. The stuff that happens is pretty compelling, and the things that you find out are pretty compelling. But it's not going to be a murder mystery that's solved.
This is a it's a movie on HBO Max, and I think that you should watch it on HBO Max. I don't personally feel like there's a need to go to the theater to see this unless you really just want to go to the theater to see a movie. That's my thought.
Yeah.
Should we give our ratings then?
Oh no, I was just gonna say about Sam's window dressing thing. A similar thing happened. My wife and I forgot to talk about this show. We started this show called Big Sky. Have you guys heard of it?
Yeah.
It's very Yellowstone-ish, Montana. Yeah.
Montana,
Pia. The whole show is marketed as this Ryan Phillippe starring show. Well, then you watch it and he gets murdered in the first episode. And Twitter erupted.
What?
All these Ryan Phillippe fans were like, what the hell? Like, he's not in it. He's gone. Like, I'm 8 episodes in. He's definitely dead.
Well, that was kind of the same way people felt about Drew Barrymore in Scream.
Yeah, she gets killed in the first scene.
Yeah, they thought the movie was going to be about her, and she gets killed in the very first scene.
There's a lot of those. Why am I forgetting the name of it now? Kingdom of Heaven. Liam Neeson dies in the first act.
Yeah, but that's marketed as a Jamie Foxx movie.
No, not Kingdom.
I thought you were talking about the
Kingdom of Heaven is a the marketing heavily favored Liam Neeson and Orlando Bloom, and it ended up being an Orlando Bloom movie. But Liam Neeson dies within like the first 20-30 minutes. Same thing. Game of Thrones. Like it was marketed as dang it, and I can't think of the actor's name, but the guy who plays Boromir, he dies in the first season.
Sean Bean.
Sean Bean, thank you. Sean Bean is like, he was all over the marketing for Game of Thrones, and then he dies. Granted, he at least made it like most of the season, but yeah, there's a lot of shows that do that, and I think it's a bummer when it happens.
Yeah, this show has Ryan Phillippe's face prominent.
Didn't G.I. Joe do that too? The second G.I. Joe? With Channing Tatum's character?
Markets Channing Tatum, and he dies like at the beginning of the movie.
Yeah.
And I remember I went to a pre-screening for G.I. Joe, and everybody was writing on the thing like, what
you're talking about the second G.I. Joe.
The second one, yeah.
Yeah.
Everybody was writing, they hand you this paper of what you think about the movie, right? And everybody that was sitting around me was like, what the hell with Channing Tatum? Like, it became a Rock movie.
Yeah.
It was supposed to be a Channing Tatum and the Rock movie, and then it just became a Rock. He dies like within the first like 10 minutes.
Yeah, it's like the first scene.
Yeah.
All of the original cast is gone.
Yep. And that movie was still bad.
Still.
I don't even remember it.
The first one wasn't good.
The first one was bad, and then they tried to completely get rid of everything that happened in the first one by killing off the original everything and put a whole new cast in the second one, and it was still bad. Like, it didn't improve the movie from the first to the second. They were both bad.
It just goes to show not every 80s property should be adapted into a new movie.
Well, look, I mean, there is a way to do G.I. Joe, but they just didn't do it that way.
Yeah. But yeah, people were pretty upset about this whole Ryan Phillippe thing. But it's similar thing, like put a marketable face on a poster or something like that, and then he gets. And then
because you have a low budget, give them far less screen time.
Yep.
Yeah.
All right. Well, are we going to rate it?
Yeah. Go ahead, Sam. What's your rating on this movie?
For the first 2.5 acts of this movie, I would give it a 3. But because of the last 5-10 minutes of the movie, I'm going to give it a 2.
So are you averaging between the two, or is like the whole movie get a 2?
2.5. 2.5. I enjoyed most of the movie, but it threw me for a loop at the end, and I wish I had seen that coming or had some more like warning that it wasn't going to be a murder mystery. It was going to be something else entirely. I wish I just had some warning going into it.
Yeah,
I agree. Max, what about you?
I'm going to give it a 3 out of 5. I think overall I enjoyed the movie. I don't know that I'll ever watch it again, but it was good. The ending was bad, but overall I liked it.
Yeah, I think I'm going to give it a 2 because I think your ending, like, you have to stick the ending, right? You have to stick the landing when it comes to the ending in a movie. If your ending sucks, then it ruins the 2 hours that preceded it, right? I think that's one of the biggest parts. Like, you can fumble the beginning, you can have a pretty good middle, but you better have a damn good ending. Like, that's just the way it goes. And they They didn't do that. So my rating is a 2 out of 5. Now, let's talk about the real reason we're all here tonight. The reason that we got out of bed this morning.
I got up at 6 o'clock and started watching this.
Yeah, I saw it at 1:06.
1:45.
I watched it and immediately texted Max, go watch it now.
Yeah, I didn't have to work today, and so I stayed up late. And as I'm going to bed, I was texting Lance saying, hey, should we get together and watch the Justice League together, or is it too long and should we just watch it on our own? And he's like, yeah, we should watch it together. And then as I'm walking into my room, I look at my phone right before I'm about to get into bed, and I see a text from Lance saying, the new episode's up. Watch it now. And I'm like, you know what? I'm not that tired. I don't have work. So I went back downstairs and I watched the episode, and it was fantastic.
These last 2 episodes, and yes, I do want to rope in the last episode with this, have been some outstanding storytelling. I just think they've been great. And this latest episode, even though I kind of a little bit saw it coming, I was still shocked to see it. You know what I mean? And I'm talking about the ending, and we'll get into that a little bit, but I need to change the banner so people know what the heck we're talking about. But Sam,
yes,
what were your... Okay, so I feel like we're reviewing like 3 different TV shows, right? We have the first 3 episodes that have all been, you know, this sitcom life without seeing any of the real world and what's going on. Then we have the second episode, which was all real world and not really any of the sitcom life, showing us, you know, what was happening during those first 3 episodes.
That was the fourth episode.
4th episode, yeah. Oh, did I say 3rd? 4th. And then this 5th episode was kind of a balance of both. So it feels like the clash of 2 television shows, right? But they are working so well together. What are your thoughts on what Disney is doing, what Marvel is doing?
Okay, so we've clearly entered another phase, a different phase of this show. And the way that it is kind of coming together, or really it's coming apart. I feel like Wanda's self-contained little town called Westview.
Hex.
The Hex, which is an interesting thing to call it, right? Because a hex is a spell, and she's the Scarlet Witch. So that's, you know, that can't be an accident. That's gonna be something that comes into play,
right?
But at any rate, the more we become aware of Wanda's conscious decisions here, the more the world starts to kind of unravel for her.
Yeah.
So she's losing her grip on the cast of characters. She's losing her grip on her children. She's losing her grip on Vision. And then, oh my gosh, the ending of it brings into kind of this new thing. I don't want to say too much just yet, but brings this new thing into the MCU, and it's exciting.
It's no big deal. It's just like when they recast War Machine.
No, this is a much bigger deal than that. This is a way bigger deal, and it is a big thing. It's a big moment, because if you watch the news, this is something that's going to be a recurring theme, I think, for the next 10 years or so, or maybe, you know, the next slate. You know, we had the Infinity Stone saga, and I think this is the harbinger of the next big saga in the Marvel MCU. And I don't want to say it just yet. I think we should save it for a little bit after we all give our thoughts, and then we'll say the word. But I think it's a harbinger of the thing that is coming up. As far as the people around, you realize, okay, so there are different agendas going on in the Sword division, and the other people who are there, they have some different agendas. Not everybody's on the same page.
Is stupid. He's an a-hole.
Yeah,
I hate the director.
I mean, I mean, is he or isn't he? It's hard to say. He's definitely leaning towards Thunderbolt Ross, right? He's leaning towards the Secretary Ross, right? That kind of We need to be hard line on the Sokovia Accords. We need to make sure that these superpowered people are towing the line, that they aren't getting out of line. And
he doesn't think that Wanda is a good guy.
And
he only refers to her as her villainous state from Age of Ultron, really. And then, of course, the misunderstanding in Civil War, where she's trying to save people and ends up blowing up a building. Which, that's.
And I thought that was
a good person and has been for years.
Yeah. I thought that was an interesting thing too, because this is the first confirmation that since Endgame, the Sokovia Accords is still a thing. That's the first confirmation we've gotten. Because
do they not mention anything in Spider-Man: Far From Home?
No. So I didn't know. Was this abolished because of everything that happened with Thanos? I mean, 5 years has passed. Half the population was dead. What happened? I mean, if the Sokovia Accords were a thing, then Thanos would have never been brought back. And
in Infinity War, they don't ever get permission. They just go do it.
Yeah.
They broke but I mean they talk about them breaking the Sokovia Accords there, but then Endgame is 5 years later and they don't ever talk about getting government approval to go and go on their time mission, their time heist. Apologies to Ant-Man. But well, you're right. I think you're right.
But what I'm saying is that it's clear that there are different factions or different agendas had here, and it seems like Hayward is more of a shoot first, ask questions later type guy. Let's diffuse the situation with our bullets, whereas Monica Rambeau, the new Photon or whatever she's going to be called, she's trying to connect. And there may be a reason for that. We got some hints that maybe she has superpowers herself, because they tried to give her an X-ray and she was emitting so much light that the X-ray came back blank. And she
that's a good interpretation.
I was thinking not see that. I thought that okay.
Yeah, I was thinking reality had been rewritten, and so she couldn't get a normal scan. But I think you're right. I think the photon explanation is a much more correct explanation. But I think that she just got her powers and she doesn't know that she has them.
That doesn't make sense, because she's acting like she knows all this stuff and she's just like sweeping it under the rug. Maybe. All right. And when she's talking,
falling out with Captain Marvel, we know that.
Well, when she was talking to Darcy, she's like, well, we need lead for this and we need this for this. And one of the things that she says is we need, I forget what the element, but she says we need that to block photons. And that's an interesting thing because her mom is Photon, right? And so what's really going on with Monica? There's something there that we haven't really been made privy to. So I think that's coming. I think the reveal of her powers is coming, but they're just hinting at it right now, trying to kind of keep things quiet, just like they are with Agnes, who is she's been really suspicious from the start. And every episode, it's like, what's really going on with this girl? She's being really weird.
I feel like Agnes is less suspicious after this episode.
See, I don't. I mean, it's like she's the only one who is not hypnotized or not under anybody's spell, but she's playing along.
Well, it didn't seem like Herb
regardless. What's that?
It didn't seem like Herb was like in the last episode when her and Herb are talking. They're talking about what's going on in the neighborhood. Either he was snapped out of it.
But Agnes is kind of the one prodding that conversation, right?
Yeah.
And she's like, "Hey, Herb, ask Vision about this." And so Herb's like, "Hey, don't you think it's kind of weird?" And then Agnes is the one who's kind of behind that one. And then in this episode, you have Agnes going, should we just run that line again? Should we take it from the top? As if she's in on this whole thing. And Wanda's like, what? She's like, Wanda's like, it's like Vision doesn't know that this is just a show, so don't talk like that. And she just kind of plays it off.
But she did seem a little confused through that whole thing. Almost as if, yes, she's doing this, but she's being manipulated some way by an outside source.
See, I'm not picking that up at all. When she walked out of the Hex carrying the drone,
and I don't think that was her.
That was like her declaration of war. Because who else is it going to be, though? Who else is it going to be?
Did you notice that she was talking in her accent?
Yes.
I did, yeah. I just thought that was because she was outside of the Hex.
But this is what I'm saying is the drone. I mean, look, there's room for someone else to do it, but who else is going to do it? Because the drone, the last we see the drone functional is it's focusing its camera on her, then the camera goes static, and then she's carrying the drone out with her bare hand with her superpowers. It's enveloped in the red stuff, and then she chucks it, and then she uses her powers to turn everybody's guns on Hayward, right? So I don't think that could be anybody but her.
Did you notice that she got it to turn and there was no red stuff like making them turn? Every time Scarlet Witch uses her power, there's like this red fog, right? I guess you could call it, that controls whatever element she's trying to control. But when those guns turn, there was none of that.
Yeah, it was in their eyes. Wasn't it their eyes? Their eyes kind of go.
Yeah, but it wasn't like it comes from her hands, it emits and then goes like it. I don't know. I think the fact that there's a couple things that make that scene suspect to me. First off, that she came out and she wasn't in her 90s or 80s clothing, right? She was in her costume, which we know that when
that makes me think it's her more.
Well, Monica got expelled from the Hex wearing her 70s garb, right?
Yeah, but
so
Scarlet Witch is in control of this alternate reality. So for me, that's why I think it's her. Sorry,
but it was an interesting thing to do, to put on her outfit to come out of the thing. She didn't have to do that. There was no. They all know who she is. The outfit doesn't.
May I interject?
The second, no, you can't, because I'm still saying my point. The second is her accent. The third is that so the drone is going towards her face, right? And her eyes are turning red. Then we see her walking out and talking to this group. Cut to back to the scene where she's with the boys again in her clothes looking for the dog. And nobody asks her, where did you go? Nobody asked. It seems like no time has passed for whatever individual was looking for that dog from when the drone came in. So did she come out, freeze time in there, come out, talk to all them, come back and unfreeze time for everybody? She's the
director. He says, cut. They cut.
I just think that it's there. It's hard to look at it so black and white for me.
Well, that's why it's in color.
That's why it's in color now.
But I think
I had the same joke.
I think that Marvel, every single thing that Marvel does in the show has some sort of impact, right?
You might be right.
Done without reason. So why was she speaking in her accent, and why was she in her costume?
See, for me, the whys of that are much simpler than where you're going personally. For me, she is the one creating this reality. So when she leaves, she is able to maintain the real reality. That's why she changes back. And then again, within her Hex, which that's what I was trying to interject earlier, for a man with such a crush on Kat Jennings, the actress, why can't you use her term? She wants you to say Hex. Say Hex, okay?
That's what I said. Right.
No, you kept saying when she walked out of the thing. I'm just giving you crap, though.
No, hey, but listen, dude. Why would she be coming into reality with her accent when she hasn't had the accent since Civil War?
Yeah, that's probably a continuity error, but to me, that's why she has the accent in the real world. Is it's an indication of the real Wanda has an accent. The one in this alternate reality does not.
No, but she has given interviews talking about how they, as a team, decided to get rid of the accent.
Yeah, and maybe the director.
But then people are like, "Yeah, we need to." She has an accent. She should have an accent.
Yeah, I was thinking the same thing, and maybe you're right, Lance. Maybe, but like I think that could be a director decision. It could be a, you know what, that was a bad call. She should have an accent, or I don't know. But
I don't know. It just screams. There's so many things to be suspicious of.
yeah,
Yeah,
I kind of want you to be right, Lance, because I don't want her to be villainous. I'd rather it be that like this is Mephisto or somebody who is able to, you know, change form and look like Wanda, and they're, you know, trying to make her look bad. But I don't think that's the case. I do think that Wanda's kind of in her grief being a little villainous, being a little bad.
Yeah, I don't know.
And the other thing is that there may be a lot of red herrings in the episode. Things that they're throwing at you that don't necessarily mean anything, but they're putting a lot of pressure on you to notice those things.
Yeah.
I mean, that may not be the case.
Correct.
Maybe everything is meaningful, and maybe everything will have its own thread tied up. But,
yeah, like for instance, the ad for Lagos. What is that? Does that mean anything?
well, Lagos is where she blew up that building, right? They mentioned that even earlier in the episode.
Okay,
But that's
I thought it sounded like a place. Okay, thank you.
And so when they're talking about, oh, it's good for things that you mess up, or when you mess up, that's because she messed up in Lagos and blew up.
And that's
that
what
building.
kind of starts. Isn't that kind of what starts the whole Sokovia thing?
Yeah,
no,
that's the final straw.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, because the whole movie that happens, and then General Ross is there. We're pissed that you did this, but it was kind of like the straw that broke the camel's back. Was that event?
Yeah.
And she gets depressed, and then she has to go on the run. And she's had a rough life. She's had a rough few years.
Yeah.
And she got snapped out of existence, and
She
now
lost
she's
her
back.
brother.
Lost her
Are we
brother.
ready
She
to
lost
say-
a lot of her
Yeah,
friends.
we're ready to say it.
Are we ready to say the M word?
The M word.
Multiverse.
Oh, okay. I was
Okay.
wondering what the M word was. All right.
So I have questions about that too. We all know that this is leading into some multiverse, right? And we know that the casting of Evan Peters was intentional. Why else would you cast Evan Peters, who
As Quicksilver, who was
As
Quicksilver
Quicksilver.
in the X-Men movies.
But
yeah, and I'm really glad he's Quicksilver, because we talked about this last week that maybe he's going to be Speed, and so they're doing it as like an Easter egg. I'm really glad that wasn't the case though, because I kept expecting this episode that the kids were going to age up again, and that one of them was going to be Evan Peters. And I'm glad that's not the case. I'm glad that instead he's Pietro, but I wasn't sure what was going to happen. I think him being Quicksilver is so much better.
And see, that's where I have a hard time believing that Scarlet Witch is controlling everything, or Wanda is controlling everything, because
someone
she
needs to
seems-
freaking call her a Scarlet Witch so we can just have this official.
She seems genuinely surprised that he's standing at her doorway. She also begs the kids not to age up. If she's controlling everything, so you think she would be able to control them aging up. There is another there. It's like she's a puppet master with her hands on the marionettes, and then there's another puppet master above her with their hand on her, controlling her. You know what I mean? Controlling the marionettes.
I
think she's a middleman.
I don't think that's the case, but I think you're right. I think there are other forces at work here.
Mm-hmm.
And I think someone has cracked open a multiverse in the Hex. I think somehow it's created this convergence or this portal or something that has
unintended consequences.
Well, in the question I have is, in those X-Men movies, does he have an accent from New Jersey?
From New Jersey?
Yeah, he was very clearly speaking in a New Jersey accent when he stood at that door.
He in this show, he did, but in the X-Men movies, he did not.
So
he just sounded like a normal kid.
So one theory I saw online was maybe he's just a dude that lives in the neighborhood and has been cast in the role of Pietro. And maybe he's not Quicksilver at all. He's just a regular guy that's been cast in this, and we're gonna find out more.
I don't buy it.
But
I don't think so. I would
why
be very
all of a
disappointed.
sudden is he talking in a New Jersey accent?
Why
does
does anybody have an accent in this show at all? Right? Why does Agnes talk like she's on Leave It to Beaver?
Yeah.
It's part of this, the rules of this area. But here's the thing that really bugs me is how fast and loose they play with Infinity Stone derived powers. How is it that Wanda can use the Mind Stone to bend reality? Why isn't that not the Reality Stone?
Yeah, I've said that before too. It is kind of funny.
Same thing with Captain Marvel. She got her powers from the Space Stone. So why is she using Power Stone type powers? Doesn't make sense to me.
Well, the Mind Stone, I feel like they use the Mind Stone and it unlocks the mind that gives them these powers. So that's something with mutant that happens with mutant is when you get the X gene, right? That it's basically unlocking something that was very deep within you. The same with the Terra crystals. What do they call them? Terra gems? What do they call those things? Terrigen. That it's something that was always there, and this thing is unlocking that. So it's possible.
Yeah,
the
you
mind
know why?
just
Is because
unlocks something.
Stan Lee got tired of creating origin stories for everybody. So he just is like, they're just born with these powers. They're mutants. They're just born with them.
But you know what I mean? I wonder if that's
right
where it's the Mind Stone is. It's just unlocking something within the mind that's allowing them to do these things that were always there.
Yeah,
you know,
I
maybe.
don't know.
I think that they want her to have the
time
same
with it.
powers as in the comic books, so we just have to deal with it.
Yeah, she was a mutant in the
And
comic books.
they couldn't call her a mutant, and so
The other thing is, so she has these two boys, Billy and Tommy, who we know are Wiccan and Speed. Why is one Speed? Pietro's not the father of the children. Why don't one of them have vision
again,
powers?
that comes from that comes from the whole mutant thing. She's not a mutant.
Yeah,
so.
I'm just trying to figure out, like, so Wiccan has similar powers to his mother, and Speed has similar powers to his uncle. I think.
Well, again, if you're looking at mutants, again, genetic. It's a genome.
These
right?
are actually Pietro's kids, and we have a legal situation on our hands with incest.
So I was okay. You're asking the weird questions. I'm going to ask a real question here. And Lance laughed at me earlier today when I asked him this. But there's a scene where who was it?
Spit it out.
Woo.
Yeah, silence is great for YouTube videos, Max.
Woo it talks about how Scarlet Witch or Wanda would have beat Thanos all by herself had they not done the Blitz. And then someone else chimed in and said, or maybe it was the other way. Kat, I think, said that Scarlet Witch would have won, and then Woo
How
chimed
did
in
they
and
even
said
know that?
Captain Marvel would have won. I'm like, how do you know this?
How did
That
they
was my
even know
question.
that?
Yeah, like, were you watching the movie?
Did they watch the movie too? Yeah. Was there cameras there?
Tweet Randall Park and figure out how his character would know this. You know,
that was what I was wondering.
He asked Marvel, was Agent Woo a victim of the blip? And they wouldn't answer him. Did you guys see that?
No.
So he asked Marvel if Agent Woo was a victim of the blip, and they wouldn't answer him yes or no. So he doesn't know. And I think that I don't think he was, because he had to get that card trick down.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I don't think he was either, because like he seems like he's been on the job and he doesn't seem like he's missed a beat as much, you know? Whereas if you've been blipped and you're back to work, because I think this only takes place a few weeks after the blip, after the return, because of a line in the previous episode. And so I think he's been alive this whole time. I'm actually surprised they haven't told him, because not that I like am an actor really, but I did like theater in high school, and I think to myself, like, from an acting perspective, I'd want to know what my character has been through, because that'll inform how I do my performance.
Oh, so speaking of that point that you just made, so I was reading an interview with Salma Hayek, who is in The Eternals, right? And saw a similar interview with Kat Dennings, where she was talking about getting this role for WandaVision, right? Yeah. And they make them sign to be in the movie and sign 3 different NDAs before they can even read the script. So wow. Salma Hayek had no idea who her character was, no idea what the movie was going to be about. She had no idea about anything. They said, we're not telling you anything until you agree to be in our movie. And then she says, okay, I'll be in it. And they're like, here's the script.
That's
Now you're locked,
crazy.
sucker.
And that's MCU and Disney power right there. Because I know a lot of actors that would be like, no, I want to see the script. I want to know what I'm actually doing.
Mhm.
But if you know it's Marvel, you're probably just like, yeah, I'm interested.
Yeah.
I want the big bucks.
I don't know. So I just think there's so much more than meets the eye in this show. There's so much there. Like we see it and we're like, holy crap, it's Pietro. It's the multiverse, blah, blah, blah. But I'm like, they wouldn't make it that simple to figure out, right? This show is all about solving the puzzle. And they're not going to give you that huge clue this early on. Because we still have, 5 more episodes?
Yeah. See, I think we're gonna get through this show and we're gonna be like, what? We need to rewatch the whole series.
Oh, I plan to. I've already seen each episode that's been released at least 2 times, some of them 3. And I plan on watching this one again after tonight's show.
I've seen it 3 times already.
Because I'm like, there's got to be more here. But this is looking like it's using the House of M comic book series as kind of the framework for everything that's going on. And I know that Mephisto plays a huge role in House of M. So I think that there's an overarching figure that's pulling the strings of this whole thing, and Wanda is just a pawn, or she's the fall guy to make it look like it's all her. But I think there's something else going on here that we haven't quite unraveled yet. And I can't wait for next Friday. I can't wait to see. Evan Peters is a phenomenal actor. I love him in everything he's been in. I cannot wait to see him in this role and just see him shine.
Yeah.
I don't know if you guys have much familiarity with him, but his roles in American Horror Story are always my favorites. Apparently it's not worth the money, the movies. So that's great.
What?
Matt just said this whole thing was not worth the money. The movies,
Oh,
the thing that I'm going to tomorrow.
Well, that sucks. That was pretty short too.
No refunds.
Yeah. They're definitely. They said in there 50 million times, no refunds.
Wow. All right.
Well, make sure you
the sad
bring
part
your
is
camera and take lots of pictures.
Mine. Yeah, right. The sad part is that mine is coming in a bun that I have to take the bun off. So I'm just eating a chicken breast in a salad form. It's just and tater tots. They didn't cost me anything. Jay paid for the whole thing for me, so because I agreed. I know.
That's a good buddy.
I know. He surprised me by doing that. He's like, if you drive, I'll pay for it all. And before I could even answer, I had $92 sitting in my Venmo account.
Wow.
So, but yeah, I think there's so much more going on. I love the fact that these shows have become my favorite part of this episode, and it was much less of a peek into what's happening, was the fact that the credits are rolling. Wanda is trying to end the episode, and Vision's like, no, we're talking about this now.
Okay, I'm glad we're getting to this. Yeah, that was cool.
I love
Vision really unraveling things. Like this whole that was a story arc that was one of the cooler parts of this episode. A lot happened here. His whole getting the email and realizing, wait, what the heck is going on here? There's something strange going on in the neighborhood. There's something strange in the neighborhood. Anyway,
I tried rewinding it to see if the text, remember how the computers would do the text made out of all the small characters? I tried to see if the shape of those characters was anything, but I didn't recognize anything that made any sense to me.
Yeah, I didn't notice anything, but that was cool. And then he, not Herb or Norm, he snaps Norm out of it, and we learned that it's hurting these people. That it's not just that they're being mind controlled; it hurts, and they all want out. And then Vision's unraveling this mystery, and then at the end when he's flying up in the air and yelling at her, that's the most emotion that we've ever seen out of Vision.
Or the fact that
you find out, remember anything before Westview, that's because you did. That it was cool. I just thought that was a really cool sequence.
So that was one thing that I noticed too, where I feel like Agnes plays a much more pivotal role in this whole thing as well, is the fact that Wanda's just now freely doing magic in front of her.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
You know, and I think Agnes is in on this whole thing. She's just like, here's this caller. Like, it makes a whole scene of it. Like, Vision is pissed because she's not even trying to hide what she's doing. And then they're talking about, sorry, I thought I had something on my teeth and it's actually something on my screen. Then they're talking about, the dog dies and they're just talking about, hey, bring him back to life, mommy. And Agnes is standing right there. Doesn't seem shocked or anything. Like,
well, she does seem shocked when they say you can bring people back from the dead. Agnes is like, you can do that? So maybe, and which I know, Sam, earlier I was telling you that I was convinced that she's not a part of it, and now I'm thinking it more, and I'm like, maybe she is, because she's aware that something's weird with Wanda. And so now it makes me wonder if she's trying to kind of get some insight into Wanda's powers, and so that surprised her. Wait, you can bring people back from the dead? That's how powerful you are?
It's like she's aware of what's going on, but she's not scared.
Yeah, I feel like Agnes is kind of like losing her patience with Wanda, honestly. I feel like she's getting to the point where she's like, okay, so do you just want to take this from the top? Like, she's dropping the mask because she's losing her patience with this whole thing. But she's not under any spell. That's what it seems like to me.
Yeah. I love that scene where she's trying to rock the babies and she's like jazzercising and squirting them with lavender perfume. And then she's like, hey, where's your dark liquor? And they're like, you're going to drink right now? And she's like, no, I'm going to give it to the kids. What kind of babysitter do you think I am?
I'm not a bad babysitter. Come on.
I'm like, what's her name? Catherine Hahn? Is that the actress's name?
Yeah.
Yeah. She's fantastic, man. She's fantastic. But I don't know. I mean, there's so much there to just chew on without really knowing of what you're chewing on. Like, I watched this show and I'm like, okay, why'd they do that? Okay, why'd they do that? Right? Or that's weird. Like, and you don't know what is the actual body of this whole story, or what is just like filler, or what was put there as a misdirect. Or they're doing a very good job of keeping me on the edge of my seat. And I have to give kudos to Marvel and Kevin Feige for doing that, and the writers of the show.
Yeah, and I have to give kudos to you, Lance, because your camera keeps blipping out, and it's kind of starting to freak me out.
I don't know what's going on. Well, I am on a different computer because I fell asleep and was not able to change my computer to my night. I use a laptop.
Wait, did you drill on your laptop keyboard and short some circuits out?
Yeah, I did. No, I'm using a crappy keyboard or a computer that I use throughout the week for work, and it's not my good laptop, so I don't think it agrees with everything. In fact, I was worried that I was going to come on here and have to take a break halfway through and switch computers. But yeah, let's give our you guys want to talk about anything else? Was there anything else in this episode that we missed?
I'm sure there was.
Here's why I think this is like all multiverse, because all of the news around Marvel lately is about multiverse stuff. So yeah. Evan Peters is kind of like kicking it off, but then you've got news about all the multiple Spider-Men. So Tobey Maguire and Andrew Garfield. You got news about Alfred Molina and Willem Dafoe. J.K. Simmons is already back as J. Jonah Jameson. So that's all
not a multiverse thing. J.K. Simmons is not a multiverse thing.
No, it's not. But it is exciting,
right?
And you just have this kind of confluence of news. Now, today I heard rumors that Chris Evans is going to be in Multiverse of Madness, and he's going to be playing 2 roles. Well, what 2 roles would he be playing in a Marvel movie? Captain America, clearly, but also Human Torch. He could be Human Torch. He was Human Torch in Fantastic Four.
Oh, interesting.
That is interesting.
So it's like, there's this multiverse thing. brings in so many possibilities about.
So does that mean I might get to see Jessica Alba in that Fantastic Four skin tight leotard again? Because that would make my day. Give her an Oscar just for that outfit.
LA's finest.
Oh my
They
gosh.
were kidding about LA's finest.
Yeah.
Oh
Oh my
man.
gosh.
Oh boy.
That
But
would
yeah,
be
so
amazing.
there's this like
Yeah, I
all
mean, I
these
wonder
things
how
kind of
far they'll
swirling
go.
around the idea of a multiverse. Now you have WandaVision, which is like cracking open the multiverse. You have Doctor Strange, the Multiverse of Madness, which is definitely diving deep into the multiverse. You have the Spider-Man movie, which is, it looks like it's going Spider-Verse, like they're going to be adapting a lot of that Spider-Verse storyline.
Yeah.
But also Loki. The Loki series is supposed to be Loki kind of like quantum leaping between multiverses and
Well,
kind
we
of
already
changing
know.
history.
Yeah, we already know that Loki's thing is happening in a different timeline because of what happened with the Infinity Stone in Endgame, right?
Mhm,
So where
mhm.
it gets kicked to his feet and then he goes off. Well, that just created off a splinter that these guys don't realize that they created. I'm assuming, right?
Right.
But it creates a splinter. So we already know that there's some multiverse thing happening because now this is a different Loki than what we've seen. Loki's dead, isn't he? The real
Yeah.
Loki?
In the
Yeah,
main
he died
timeline.
in Infinity War.
Yeah. So now this is a new Loki.
It's the exact same Loki. It's just he hasn't experienced all the same things.
Right. I'm excited to see Owen Wilson in that show. I saw a brief clip. Wasn't there a clip of them in the
Yeah, there's a whole
the
trailer,
trailer.
of Loki.
Yeah, in an elevator or something like that. I
Yeah.
like Owen Wilson.
Me too.
But yeah, there's so much here, and I can't wait for next week because I feel like a lot of our questions are going to be answered. And Loki to me seems very intriguing. The one that I'm least excited about is Hawkeye.
I'm
But-
very excited about that one.
You are?
Yeah, absolutely, man. I like Hawkeye. I don't understand the hate. I think he's
I
a cool
like-
character.
I like.
And
Haley.
I also like Haley Steinfeld. So I'm excited
Yeah.
for multiple reasons. I'm not really that interested in Loki. I don't understand why he's so well liked, but I'm definitely going to watch it.
You don't understand why he's well liked?
I mean, he's fine, but I don't get it. I
You
know
don't get
that
it?
I know that the women think he's hot.
He's the Sasuke of the Marvel universe. He's the bad boy.
Yeah.
The dark, dreamy younger brother with his long locks, and
Yeah, and you never
brooding.
know if he's going to be a good guy or a bad guy. In the
Yeah,
movie.
you
he's
never
an
know which side he's
interesting
going to fall
character.
on.
I like him as a character. I don't know. I don't get the infatuation. There's characters I like more. I like his brother better. Thor's better.
No, you know what? A Thor movie has to have Loki in it. Honestly, it has to.
It won't work without him, probably, huh?
It doesn't work without Loki. And
I don't agree.
dude,
I would love to see Loki in it, but I think Thor is fine without Loki.
the best part of every Thor movie is the banter that goes back and forth between Thor and Loki. And
yeah,
the
but I
worst
think you
part
can
of any Thor
recreate
movie,
that.
the worst
Go ahead.
part of any Thor movie is Jane Foster.
Yeah, I'm glad she wasn't in
The best part of
Third
any
one.
Thor movie is Kat Dennings.
and she wasn't even in the best Thor movie.
Yeah, so hot. All right, guys, I gotta go get the hose.
Well, like, okay, so really quick before we jump off that topic, I want to just mention that I would be fine if Loki was in Thor 4 because I do love the character. I didn't need his own series is all I'm trying to say. Like, I don't get why he's like the greatest thing to so many people. Anyway, but I think that like the fact that the Guardians characters are going to be in Thor Love and Thunder, I think that gives us a similar dynamic. Like the banter between Chris Pratt and
Thor.
Thor. I was trying to think of the actor's name. Chris Hemsworth. Thank you. Like, I think their banter is going to be a new, fun thing to see in the Thor movie.
See, I think they're just going to drop him off. I think it's only going to
They
be
just cameo.
it's just going to be cameos.
We've only been confirmed that Star-Lord's in this movie. None of the other ones.
No, Karen Gillan is definitely in it.
Oh, Karen Gillan, but I haven't heard anything about Rocket or Groot.
Yeah,
Or
I don't know.
Drax.
I don't know. I don't think it's going to be like a Thor a Thor and the Guardians as like his backup band or his backup cover band or something. I don't think that's the case.
Yeah, if it was Thor and Guardians and they don't name it as Guardians of the Galaxy,
right?
it's a major marketing fail on Marvel's part.
For sure. Yeah, I think they're just going to drop him off. I think it's just going to be a real brief thing, but I could be wrong.
Yeah,
well, we'll see.
Who knows? I know that if it was a Guardians movie, that James Gunn would be heavily involved, and I don't know how involved he's been.
He's just said, so James Gunn was on Twitter yesterday, and he said that he's read the script and he didn't give any notes or anything. He just talked to Taika Waititi about the script. He didn't make any changes or anything. He just talked to him about it.
Marvel is amassing a pretty amazing group of directors, wouldn't you say?
Yeah, they have incredible talent for sure.
And I just heard Edgar Wright was talking about it, that he and Kevin Feige have repaired their relationship since the falling out of Ant-Man. So I really hope that someday Edgar Wright gets to make his Marvel movie. I would love that.
He did. What
Baby Driver, Shaun of the Dead.
Yeah. That's right.
Yeah, he was given writing credits for the first Ant-Man because he was involved in that process for a long time and then walked away from it after something happened, and that's when Peyton Reed. Yeah. But all right, Max, go ahead. Tell me what you thought of this show in the form of couch cushions and throw pillows. You've already told me
5 out of 5 couch cushions and an ottoman. No, dude, it was 5 out of 5 for me. I gave last week's 4.5, and I liked this significantly more. And I loved last week's episode. It was perfect. I cannot think of anything that they could have done better. I mean, unless you made it an hour and a half, 2 hours longer, so that you gave me the rest of the story. That's the only thing that they could have done better. I don't want to have to wait every week. But yeah. I loved this episode. So, I mean, I do want to wait every week because it's fun to look forward to. But at the same time, I just want to know. I want to know.
Yeah, I wish they were doing like 2 episodes a week. That would be great.
That would be cool.
I mean, getting the whole thing at once would be fantastic, but at least 2.
They got to keep those subscriptions paying, man.
Yeah.
Oh, believe me, my kids have more than use their Disney Plus subscription for the amount of Moana that's been playing on in my house.
I am Moana. Love that movie.
You know what's funny about that is we watch Moana, my daughter, over and over again on Disney Plus, and I own it not only in physical Blu-ray but also on Vudu, which I don't pay for. But we watch it on Disney Plus. So Disney Plus is just simple to use. So
yeah, it's great.
Sam,
what are
your?
We need upgrades.
Yep. Sam, what are your thoughts on this show?
Okay, so
your rating. Sorry,
I think we are at I'm at a 4 on this. 4 is very good, in my opinion, and I think Elizabeth Olsen was saying, "Hey, we're going to have a cameo that's on par with the Luke Skywalker cameo in Mandalorian." I think this is what she was referring to. But I don't think we have gotten to the point where we understand why she would compare it to the Luke Skywalker cameo.
Yeah, and I'm not sure if this is what she's talking about, or if anyway, but I'm also such a Star Wars fan. I'm like, there's nothing that's going to top the Luke Skywalker cameo to me. But I don't know. We'll see. I don't want this to be a cameo. I want him to stay for a long time. I think that there might be a Doctor Strange cameo, and maybe that's what she's referring to.
No, she didn't say a cameo. She didn't say a cameo. She said there's something in it that's going to top the Luke Skywalker. It's going to be like our Luke Skywalker, but bigger. And because I know that there's more to come, I'm still questioning. I've still got a lot of things that I'm like, I want to see more. I'm not to the point where like the payoff is hit. So I'm still stuck on a 4 with the show. Last week was a 4. I feel like the first 2 weeks were 3s. And now we're in 4 territory, and I'm hoping, gosh, fingers crossed that we get into 5s.
I don't know what else you need for it to be a 5.
Payoff, man.
The only thing I could think that could top. Are you guys hearing me?
Yes.
Is this working?
But you're cutting in and out.
Oh, sorry. I'm like, my thing is like glitching out real weird. I think something's going on with my internet. I
think someone threw a dodgeball at your nuggies.
Does that work?
Your internet got dodgeballed.
So is that better?
Yes.
I think the only thing that could top a Luke Skywalker moment for this show, I think Evan Peters is almost there. But the only way you could top that is if Michael Fassbender or Ian McKellen come walking through the door.
Okay, yeah, that'd be pretty sick.
Or
if like the final episode, Magneto comes in and like is helping take things down, and it's Michael Fassbender, that'd be pretty bad. That would be pretty.
That would be Luke Skywalker.
Yeah, that'd be really, really cool.
I still think Ultron could make an appearance.
Yeah, it's possible.
I would love it if James Spader made an appearance, like in human form.
Yeah.
And then, you know what I mean? Or if he was Mephisto.
Ooh, you send a chill. You send a chill down my back.
That'd be awesome. That would be awesome. So Max brought up a good point. We went out to lunch today before we went to go buy the brisket and everything. And he said I kind of painted myself in the corner because I've been given such high ratings, and I'm still painted in that corner because this episode was better than last week's episode. And I gave last week's episode a 5.
I know. Now I feel like I painted myself into a corner.
I feel like I need to upgrade to a sectional. But it's a 5 and a throw pillow and an ottoman and one of those little drink coasters that go next to you
and a hide a bed
and a hide a bed. And it's one of those couches that just
this is the ultimate couch.
Swallows you in. Yeah,
man.
One of those couches that you're cleaning it out. You find like $50 in quarters in it, like that kind of couch.
You know what I think we should use as a rating? So if it's better than a 5 out of 5, you want to say this is a 5 out of 5, and I would sleep on this couch if my wife kicked me out of the bedroom.
This is a whole IKEA. This is a whole Ashley furniture store. Yeah, it's very good. There's not much better on TV than this right now. I mean, you're doing a very good job. And it was, when it was first announced what they would be doing, we kind of all looked at like, okay, Marvel's gotten too big for its britches. I think they think they can do anything, and we're just going to eat it up. Turns out they were right.
They were right.
Eat it up, but it's very good, and I've been very happy. And not much gets me, waiting till 1 o'clock in the morning to watch a show. Than this. It's just very good. But was there any news? So let's talk about some news here.
Okay, I had 2 things that are like one thing.
So I just read online that Willem Dafoe was spotted on the set of Spider-Man.
Yeah, I brought that up earlier.
Really? You did?
Willem Dafoe? Yeah. You said Willem Dafoe?
Yeah, I said Alfred Molina and Willem Dafoe going.
That must have went right past me.
Yeah, that went right past me. I heard
Alfred Molina, but I did not hear Willem Dafoe.
Well, that's cool.
Yeah,
I like it. That's awesome.
I hope they actually do him some justice and not his Power Rangers suit. But
well, I don't think they even need to put him in the suit. There's so many characters in this. I think it's okay if they're just like cameos.
So I'm trying to figure out how they would do that because he died. So is this going to show? Maybe he's just playing Norman Osborn.
Yeah, maybe
like a different version of him or something. But
we haven't met Norman Osborn yet in the MCU. He could just be the MCU's Norman Osborn. I mean, because like if we look at DC's multiverse, it's not like if your name is Joe Smith or whatever, and you go to Multiverse Earth 2, you might be the exact same person. You know what I mean? Like sometimes they're different people, sometimes they're the exact same. So we could just have him be a Norman Osborn in the current MCU. I think that's exciting though. I did not know that. So sorry I missed it, Sam, when you said that, but that's really cool.
I missed it too. Sorry, Sam. thought you would have put a Willem Dafoe.
Yeah, Alfred Molina, Willem Dafoe.
Hold on.
Chris Evans.
Is his name Willem, not
Yeah,
William?
Willem.
Willem.
Oh my gosh, I thought it was William all this time, and I was like, why are you guys mispronouncing his name?
It's Willem.
Hey, you want to know the real trip? The real trip is that he used to pronounce his last name Dafoe.
Really?
Yeah.
Willem Dafoe.
Willem Dafoe.
Sounds like he's Willem the Foe.
No, that's how you pronounce it now, right? Everyone says Willem Dafoe, but when he started acting, he went by Willem Dafoe.
I know. If you say that, it sounds like Willem the Foe, like it's some sort of like moniker. But Willem Dafoe sounds much better.
I like Dafoe better. Yeah.
Yeah, but it's not my last name. That's like Gal Gadot. Gal Gadot sounds way better than Gal Gadot.
Gal Gadot.
Yeah.
Gal Gadot actually is what it is.
Gal Gadot. Whatever.
Okay, are you like president of the fan club or something?
No, I just when Wonder Woman came out, I spent some time figuring out actually how to say her name. And then
Wait, were you the guy that Steve Trevor inhabited?
Yes.
If only we spent that much time trying to figure out how to say Stephen Amell's name. We spent like 4 episodes.
We looked it up at one point. I just forgot which one's right.
We had 4 episodes arguing about the pronunciation of his last name.
It's Arnell.
Arnell.
Oh, it's awesome.
It's not an M. It's actually an R and an N. They're just close together.
I think the 2 L's are kind of like how you pronounce them in Spanish. I think it's Stephen Amey. You know,
Amey.
Amey. Yeah.
That has an A on Amia.
Amaya. Stephen Amaya.
What were the news topics you want to bring up, Max?
They're one and the same. They're just Snyder Cut related. So I don't know if this was revealed last week or during this week, but 2 things about Justice League. 1, it's going to be 4 hours. And then the thing that did come out this week, I know for sure they've confirmed it's going to be rated R.
Great.
So put
Superman. The kiddies to bed.
Yeah, I'm sure
Get
it's going to be
those Lance.
I'm sure it's going to be a very light R because like Batman v Superman had 1 F-bomb, which is PG-13 still, but then there was like enough blood that it was rated R, and I think that's going to be the same thing here. We know Batman has an F word because Snyder has said so, and then we'll see how bloody it gets. But I think that's kind of cool. Be interesting. I always enjoy a good R-rated movie. Sucks for those kids who wanted to watch it. Maybe that.
Oh, my kids have no desire to see that. It's too dark.
Shazam, when I say kids, I mean like a 13-year-old kid that maybe their parents don't want them to watch it or something.
You know, a 13-year-old kid, if he wants to see that movie, he's gonna see that movie.
Sure. It'll just be harder to do so.
Yeah, 4 hours, man. You gotta like carve a whole day out for that.
I know, that's why I was like messaging you and I was like, should we get together and watch this together like we do with some stuff, or should we just do it on our own? So I'm like, part of me is I'm very excited about it because as you guys know, I like the Snyder movies. And so part of me is like, should I just take Thursday off and just watch this because it comes out on a Thursday? But I think it'd be fun to watch it with a group. It's kind of a bummer it's not going to be at theaters. I would really enjoy going to the theater to see it.
I kind of wish it was coming out when I was getting my vasectomy because I'm going to be laying in bed that whole day.
You're going on with a knife?
No,
I am.
No filter over here. He's letting everyone know what's going on down Wanda.
People know I have a grip load of kids and I don't want anymore. So,
no, dude, that makes sense.
Yeah. So that's awesome, Max. Yeah, 4 hours. That's a lot.
Long. It's a hefty movie.
But you know what? I've been watched entire seasons of TV shows in one day, so maybe I'm just like, I don't know.
Yeah, if you can mainline Cobra Kai season 3, you can take care of the Snyder Cut.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah. Sam, anything you wanted to bring up? Anything noteworthy?
Yeah, I think all of the news about the Marvel multiverse characters being cast in these upcoming movies is pretty thrilling.
But nothing's been like confirmed except Jamie Foxx's, right? Like there's still a lot of rumors. Cause like Tom Holland gave an interview like 2 days ago where they were asking him about the Andrew Garfield and Tobey Maguire things. And he's like, oh, yeah, I really hope they like our movie. You know, like he wouldn't confirm or deny whether they were in it or not, which is really amazing for Tom Holland, who usually lets everything loose.
He has to not say anything. He doesn't want to get in trouble. He doesn't want to get fined.
So
he doesn't want to get what do they call it? Liquidated damages in his NDA for spoiling the movies.
Oh man. Yeah, him and Mark Ruffalo are notorious for that.
Mark Ruffalo? Did you just say Ruffalo?
Yeah, how do you say his last name?
How do you say his last name?
Ruffalo.
Yeah, Ruffalo.
Yeah.
Ruffalo, even though it rhymes with buffalo.
Okay, so we used to have this joke when I was a kid, and this is probably why I say that. When I was a kid, in our cabin we had a buffalo head that was mounted, and we used to always say the buffalo head.
The buffalo.
Yeah. So that's probably why I say Ruffalo, and I'm just doing it subconsciously. But yeah, buffalo was a big joke in my house because I come from, immigrants. My family's first language is Spanish, so I think it was my dad would always say buffalo, if I'm not mistaken.
Got it.
Yeah, but that's probably why I say Ruffalo. I think Ruffalo sounds more.
Sounds like Sam's just being prejudiced against a minority.
Yeah.
Am I being prejudiced against a minority? Well, I'll have you know that I ate at a torta restaurant today, and everyone spoke Spanish.
Nice. You speak more Spanish than Lance does.
Mm-hmm, it's true.
Es verdad.
I grew up around it my whole life, and I barely speak. I can understand a lot more than I can speak, but
you would have loved Los Reyes de la Torta. That's where I had lunch today.
Yeah, torta's
delicioso.
That's a Mexico thing. That's like a sandwich, right? Mm-hmm. Torta. Yeah. Now, when it's empanadas, you give me a call.
There's a good empanada place here in Santan Valley.
The Jamaica they served was so sour. It made my.
What is that?
Jamaica. It's a hibiscus tea.
Oh yeah,
very sour. It's like a really sour Kool-Aid. And it made my chin right here tingle.
Really?
Tense up. It was so sour.
Yeah, that's we share a lot of things with Mexico, and then we because my family's from Argentina, so a lot of that stuff we didn't have horchata or any of those things. Ours was arroz con leche, which actually had the rice in it. So every time I get horchata, I feel like I'm being cheated because I want because
there's no rice.
I'm like,
want the rice pudding
you eat with a spoon. What is this
rice pudding?
Yeah. But yeah, there's a whole bunch of news coming out about these movies, and I only hope that Black Widow and the Eternals does not get delayed again. So
wait, what movies?
Black Widow.
Are those movies ever coming out? They're never coming out.
Well, Black Widow is apparently supposed to come out in May, but
I think it's getting delayed.
I just wish Disney makes so much money they could release this on.
I wish they
Disney
would
Premium and just get it over with. I mean, HBO made a killing with the Wonder Woman release. Apparently they gained so many subscribers, and with that Wonder Woman release, just release it on Disney Plus. Get your head out of your ass. Just give it to us. Give it to me now.
All right, guys. It's getting late.
Yeah, it is getting late.
I gotta get ready for bed.
Let you old men go to sleep.
It's not even 9 o'clock.
Taking his shirt off. Jeez Louise.
Let's get.
Gosh dang it! Now I got to put the NC-17 rating on this video.
There's no nips. I can't see nips. Oh, there's a nip.
So that brings us to the end of our show. If anything brings you to the end of the show, it's Sam taking his shirt off. I'm sorry, Sam. I can't hear your voice through all that chest hair.
That's Austin Powers level, man.
Yeah. I'm horny, baby. What does he say? Oh no, whatever. But
do I make you horny, baby?
Yeah, go check out our Facebook and Twitter and our website, couchcrunchers.com. We are live every Friday night talking about, apparently for this whole year, we're going to be talking about WandaVision. So no, we talk about other things too. So
kind of like dodgeball.
Yeah, and Dodgeball. Go check out Dodgeball Wednesday nights at the Gilbert Sports.
Check out the video of me getting drilled in the nuggies on the Triple D Dodgeball Instagram.
I'm hoping that you post that on our Facebook, Sam, because I laughed so hard. Probably because I'm still in a state of delirium from my nap. But so go check us out there. Go check out Triple D Dodgeball. Check out our friends Grizzle Geek that are on an hour before we are on their channel every Friday, and Modern Comic Mayhem. Our boys from Absolute Geek have turned over to Modern Comic Mayhem on Saturdays, every Saturday. Go check them out as well from Tales from the Flip Side. My name is Lance. This is Sam and Max, and until next time, keep on geeking on.